Have you ever shared something with a friend or family member? Something deeply personal, only to regret it later? Maybe it was a worry, a hope, a financial detail, or a health niggle, and the reaction you got wasn't what you expected. Perhaps it was unsolicited advice that felt like criticism, or maybe your words caused awkwardness or even unintended worry. It can feel like a betrayal, not necessarily malicious, but a painful reminder that even with those closest to us, not everything we think or feel needs to be public knowledge. Sometimes, sharing can actually complicate relationships, leading to misunderstandings, judgment, or even people trying to take advantage. Often without even realizing they're doing it. It makes you pull back a little, doesn't it? Makes you think twice before opening up completely. There's a certain wisdom that comes with age, a understanding that privacy isn't about being secretive or dishonest. It's about protecting your peace, your decisions, and your emotional energy. We learn that not every thought needs to be spoken, and not every aspect of our lives is open for public discussion, even within the circle of those we love. There are some things that are best kept just for you, or maybe one or two absolutely trusted confidants, but certainly not for general consumption among friends and family. It might sound counterintuitive, especially when we value closeness, but establishing these boundaries can actually make your relationship stronger and less complicated. In this video, we're going to look at 5 specific types of secrets, personal areas of your life, that you might want to think twice about sharing widely, and why keeping them private can be one of the kindest things you do for yourself and your relationships as you get older. Watch to the end for something that will surprise you about the power of keeping these things to yourself. Let's dive straight into the first area that many people find is best kept under wraps: your exact financial situation. Now, this might sound a bit cold or untrusting, but hear me out. We're talking about the precise details here. The exact figure in your savings account, the full amount of your pension pot, how much debt you might still have, or the specific value of your investments or assets. It's not about pretending you're something you're not, but about recognizing that money can be a really sensitive topic, and sharing specific figures can open a Pandora's box of potential complications that you simply don't need at this stage of life. Think about it. If you reveal you have a comfortable nest egg, well-meaning family members might suddenly start suggesting how you should spend it. Or worse, others might feel entitled to ask for loans or gifts. It can change the dynamic of relationships, introducing an element of expectation or resentment that wasn't there before. Suddenly, that lovely dinner with your grandchildren might feel tainted by an unspoken hope that you'll pick up the increasingly expensive bill every time. Or, if you're struggling financially, sharing the grim details can lead to overwhelming worry for your loved ones. Worry that they can't necessarily alleviate. And it might even attract the wrong kind of attention from less scrupulous individuals. It can also be a blow to your pride to have to constantly explain your difficulties. So, what exactly falls into this category of too much information? Avoid specifying figures. Don't say, "I've got 50,000 saved," or "My pension pays 500 quid a week," or "The house is probably worth $500,000 now." Don't give a running commentary on the cost of everything you buy or do. Avoid discussing inheritances you might receive or money you've given away. These specifics provide a clear target, a concrete number that people can latch onto and form opinions or make plans around. What can you share? It's perfectly fine to give a general sense of your situation. You might say, "Oh, we're comfortable," or "We manage," or "We've got things sorted." If you're facing genuine hardship and need specific help from a trusted source, that's different. But general updates on your financial health, keep them vague. If family are concerned about your future security, you can reassure them by saying you've taken steps like making a will or sorting out power of attorney. Which leads us to another point we'll get to later. But you don't need to detail the contents of that will or the exact figures involved in your estate planning. How do you handle direct questions? Practice some polite deflection. If someone asks how much your holiday cost, You could say, "Oh, it was lovely. The memories are priceless." Or, "We got a good deal? Thank goodness." If a family member asks about your savings, a simple, "That's something I keep private. But rest assured, I'm looking after myself," is perfectly acceptable. You are not obligated to open your financial ledger to anyone just because they're family or a friend. Maintaining a dignified silence or a vague positive response protects your independence and prevents others from feeling they have a right to comment on or influence your financial choices. It's about setting a boundary around a deeply personal aspect of your life that, frankly, is nobody else's business unless you choose otherwise for a specific, well-thought-out reason. It's your money, earned over a lifetime, and you have the absolute right to manage it and discuss it on your own terms. Sharing too much detail here is less about building intimacy and more about inviting potential complications. So, keep the specifics of your finances close to your chest. Moving on to the second area, where discretion can be your best friend, specific health conditions you are managing. Now, this is another one that might feel counterintuitive because we often lean on loved ones when we're not feeling our best. And of course, you should absolutely share necessary health information with anyone who is directly involved in your care or who needs to know in case of an emergency. But we're talking about the everyday details of every ache, every pain, every minor diagnosis, or the intricate specifics of managing a chronic condition that you have well under control. Constantly sharing every health update can unintentionally paint a picture of you as frail or constantly unwell. Even if you're doing a brilliant job of managing your health and living a full life, it can lead to loved ones treating you differently, perhaps being overly cautious, excluding you from activities they assume you can't handle, or constantly asking about your symptoms, which can be utterly draining. You might find yourself receiving a barrage of unsolicited medical advice, often from well-meaning people who have read something on the internet or heard something from a friend. And frankly, it's rarely helpful and can often be confusing or even contradictory to your doctor's advice. Have you tried this supplement? My neighbor had that. She swore by doing XYZ, while the intention might be kind. The effect can be frustrating and make you feel like your own knowledge and your doctor's expertise aren't trusted. Think about it if you mention a recurring back problem. Suddenly, every conversation involves someone asking about your back. If you share you've been diagnosed with a particular condition, you might find people start researching it and telling you things that worry you unnecessarily, or offering miracle cures. It shifts the focus from you as a whole person, with your interests, your humor, your wisdom, to you as a collection of medical issues. And you are so much more than your health conditions. What details might be best kept private? Avoid detailing every symptom you experience. You don't need to give a blow-by-blow account of a bad night's sleep or a twinge in your knee. Don't share specific diagnoses unless it's absolutely necessary for the other person to know to provide care or support you need. You don't need to discuss every medication you're on and its potential side effects with everyone you know. And certainly, avoid speculating or sharing every bit of information you get from Dr. Google, or getting into detailed discussions about prognosis unless you are talking to your medical team or a very close, trusted individual specifically for support with that conversation. What is okay to share? You can certainly say you're feeling a bit under the weather, or that you have a chronic condition you're managing. You can explain why you might need to adjust plans, e.g., I might need to take it easy today because of my knee, without going into the detailed medical history of that knee. You can share general positive updates. My checkup went well. If you require specific help or understanding, for example, if you have mobility issues and need assistance, or if you have dietary restrictions due to health, of course, share what is needed for practical support, but gauge carefully who needs to know and how much. How to handle questions. Again, polite brevity is your friend. How are you feeling? Oh, I'm keeping on, thank you, or managing well, if someone asks about a specific condition you've mentioned before. My doctor and I are keeping an eye on it. It's all under control. You can gently pivot the conversation. Enough about my ailments. What have you been up to? Remember, you have the right to discuss your health on your terms. Protecting this information allows you to maintain your sense of self beyond any health label and prevents your relationships from revolving solely around your physical well-being. It keeps the focus on the richness of your life, not just the challenges your body might be facing. It truly allows you to define yourself. Rather than letting a diagnosis define you in the eyes of others, moving seamlessly from protecting your present financial and health information, let's talk about protecting your future plans, specifically the details of your inheritance, or how you plan to distribute your assets after you're gone. This might seem like a straightforward matter to discuss with your family, something you might feel you should be open about. However, sharing the specifics of who gets what, especially before the time is right, can introduce an astonishing amount of complexity, expectation, and sadly, sometimes conflict, into your family relationships. Think about the potential scenarios. If you tell one child you plan to leave them a specific sentimental item, another child might feel slighted. If you reveal the percentages of money each person will receive, it can lead to comparisons, perceived unfairness, and even arguments between siblings while you are still very much alive. People can start making plans based on their expected inheritance, sometimes even feeling entitled to it. This puts immense pressure on you and can cause stress and worry about your decisions being scrutinized or causing division. It's your hard-earned legacy, and you have the right to decide how it's distributed without feeling like you have to justify every single decision to everyone. What kind of details are best kept private? Avoid telling individual beneficiaries exactly what they will receive, whether it's specific items, property, or sums of money. Don't share the total estimated value of your estate with everyone. Refrain from discussing changes you might make to your will based on current circumstances or perceived behavior, as this can create a sense of being judged or having to earn their inheritance. And certainly, avoid discussing this topic in a way that allows family members to lobby you or argue with each other about your decisions. What? Is it okay to share? It is absolutely prudent and recommended to inform your executor that they have been named as such and where important documents like your will are located. You might also let your main beneficiaries know that you have a will and that your affairs are in order, simply to provide reassurance that things are sorted. Some people choose to share general principles behind their decisions, such as, "I've tried to be fair," or "I've considered everyone's needs." But even this needs to be approached with caution, as fair means different things to different people. Keeping the specific details confidential until the will is read or assets are distributed minimizes the window for potential disagreement and misunderstanding while you are alive. Your will is a legal document designed to take effect in the future, and its contents are, for the most part, private until that time. How do you handle questions about inheritance if asked directly? You can politely state, "I've made arrangements, and everything is taken care of legally," or "My will is all sorted, and the details will be clear when the time comes." You can reassure them that you've appointed an executor who will handle everything. You don't need to get into a discussion about who gets the antique clock or the fishing gear. Protecting the specifics of your inheritance plans is about preserving family harmony in the present and ensuring your final wishes are executed without undue complication caused by premature disclosure. It's a powerful boundary that protects you from potential family conflict and allows your legacy decisions to remain personal and considered. It's your right to plan for the future without that plan becoming a source of stress or negotiation in the present. Moving on to the fourth area that often benefits from a healthy dose of privacy: difficult family dynamics or ongoing conflicts you might be navigating. Every family has its complexities, its disagreements, its moments of tension. It's a normal part of life. However, constantly sharing the details of family squabbles, airing grievances about one family member to another, or involving friends in intricate family dramas can create a tangled web of alliances, misunderstandings, and broken confidences that is incredibly difficult to untangle. When you share negative feelings or conflicts about person A with person B, even if B is also family or a close friend, you are placing them in a difficult position. They may feel obligated to take sides, or they might inadvertently relay information back, escalating the conflict. Your confidant might share your concerns with others, spreading the issue wider than you intended. It can create lasting rifts between family members that are hard to heal. And it can also change the way your friends view your family, sometimes unfairly. While it's important to have someone to confide in when you're struggling with family issues, sharing the gritty details with multiple friends and family members who aren't directly involved in resolving the issue can be incredibly counterproductive. What details are best kept private here? Avoid recounting every argument or disagreement you have with a family member. Don't share your negative opinions about one family member with another family member, especially not in a way that encourages them to side with you against the other person. Be very cautious about sharing sensitive personal information or struggles of other family members, even if you feel it explains the situation, as you are breaking their confidence. Avoid complaining about your children to your grandchildren, or about your in-laws to your own siblings, unless there is a specific, constructive reason that you have clearly thought through. What is it okay to share? If you are genuinely seeking support or advice on how to handle a difficult situation, it's wise to confide in one or two truly trusted, discreet individuals, perhaps a close friend who is outside the family dynamic, a therapist, or a mediator. You can share that you are facing challenges within the family, without needing to go into every single painful detail. You can say you're working through some issues. If a conflict affects someone directly, e.g., a grandparent conflict impacting a parent's ability to manage childcare, then necessary information needs to be shared for practical reasons. But focus on the practicalities, not the emotional blow-by-blow. How do you handle questions about family conflict? This requires diplomacy. Oh, you know families. We have our ups and downs, but where managing can be a gentle deflection. If someone is fishing for drama, you can simply state, "That's a private family matter we're dealing with," or, "We're working through that internally." You are not the family spokesperson for every disagreement. Protecting the privacy of internal family matters preserves the dignity of everyone involved, including yourself, and prevents the conflict from spreading and causing further damage. It allows issues to potentially be resolved within the family unit, perhaps with professional help if needed, without external commentary or interference. Keeping these struggles private is about maintaining the possibility of reconciliation and protecting the emotional well-being of everyone involved by not turning private difficulties into public spectacles. It's a quiet strength, choosing discretion over drama. Finally, let's discuss the fifth area you might want to keep private: your romantic life or your desire for companionship. Especially as you get older, this can be a deeply personal and sensitive topic, and opening it up to wide discussion among friends and family can invite unwanted opinions, unsolicited matchmaking, or even judgment that can be hurtful and isolating. Navigating relationships, dating, or simply seeking companionship in later life comes with its own unique set of challenges and joys. It's an area where you are particularly vulnerable. Putting yourself out there emotionally, sharing the early stages of getting to know someone new can lead to premature expectations, awkward questions about whether they're the one, or comparisons to past partners. If you're using dating apps, you might face outdated views or jokes that make you feel uncomfortable. If you're simply feeling lonely and craving connection, sharing this openly might attract pity or well-meaning but unhelpful suggestions that don't match what you're looking for. It's your emotional life, your heart, and you have the right to explore connections and seek companionship without a peanut gallery of opinions. What sort of details are best kept private? Avoid giving a running commentary on every person you meet or every date you go on. Don't share intimate details of a budding relationship before you are both ready to do so. or before the relationship is established. Refrain from sharing your deepest frustrations about loneliness or dating struggles with casual acquaintances. Avoid discussing your partner's flaws or the difficulties in your relationship with friends and family, unless you are genuinely seeking specific, constructive advice from a trusted source like a counselor or a truly discreet friend. What is okay to share? You can certainly share that you're enjoying meeting new people or that you value companionship. If you enter into a committed relationship and are happy to share it, that's wonderful. But you control the narrative and the timing. You can share general positive feelings about life without attributing them solely to a new person. You can express interest in social activities that might lead to meeting people, without framing it solely as a search for romance. How do you handle questions about your relationship status or love life? You can keep it light. Oh, I'm just enjoying life and seeing what comes my way. Or, I'm focusing on my friendships and interests right now. If someone is pushing a simple and firm, "That's something I prefer to keep private," is a perfectly valid response. You are not required to disclose who you are or aren't seeing, or how you feel about being single or wanting a partner. Protecting this area allows you to explore connections at your own pace, make your own choices about who you spend time with, and maintain your dignity and emotional well-being without feeling pressured or judged. It's about honoring your feelings and desires without exposing them to unnecessary commentary. It allows you to find happiness in companionship, however that looks for you, on your own terms. So, we've talked about 5 areas: your detailed finances, specific health conditions, inheritance plans, family conflicts, and your romantic life, where choosing privacy over complete openness can actually be incredibly beneficial. It's not about being secretive or building walls, but about building healthy boundaries. Boundaries that protect your peace of mind, prevent unnecessary complications, and allow you to maintain control over your own narrative. Think about it. When you keep these specific details private, you prevent people from making assumptions about your wealth or poverty, judging your health choices, arguing over your legacy while you're still here, getting entangled in family dramas that aren't theirs, or offering awkward opinions on your love life. You maintain your independence, your dignity, and the space to make decisions that are right for you, free from external pressure. And here's that surprising element I mentioned at the beginning. By not sharing these particular secrets widely, you can often improve your relationships. How? Because you remove potential stressors and sources of conflict. Your time with friends and family can be focused on connection, shared interests, and mutual support on topics that are less fraught. Your identity in their eyes remains whole and complex, not reduced to your bank balance, your ailments, or your relationship status. You interact from a place of strength and self-possession, rather than vulnerability that might be misunderstood or exploited. It's okay, and indeed wise, to have parts of your life that are just for you. You've earned the wisdom to know that not everyone needs access to every corner of your world. This isn't about distrusting your loved ones. It's about understanding human nature and protecting the precious bonds you have by removing common triggers for difficulty. It's about choosing where to invest your emotional energy and deciding what is truly helpful to share versus what might cause unnecessary waves. Remember, small changes in how you manage information can make a big difference to your peace of mind and the quality of your relationships. It's your life, your story, and you get to decide who gets to read which chapters. What do you think about these 5 areas? Are there things you've learned through experience are best kept private? Or have you faced challenges by oversharing in the past? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience might resonate with someone else and help them feel less alone in their approach to privacy. If you found this discussion helpful or thought-provoking, please give the video a thumbs up. It really helps the channel and tells me that you appreciate this kind of content. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. We explore all sorts of topics here designed to help us live our best lives as we navigate this stage of life together. From health and finances to relationships and finding joy. Just click that subscribe button and the little bell icon so you don't miss out on future videos. Thank you for watching and spending this time with me. Remember the power of your own privacy. Live your best life, peacefully and confidently, with healthy boundaries that honor your wisdom and experience.